Morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is. You're watching this at your own leisure, and we're hopeful that it'll be helpful to you. I want to start out by focusing us on our Christ-centered message. 2 Corinthians says, now finish the work so that your eager willingness to do it may be matched by your completion of it according to your means. You know what that means? This player got home safely because she was enthusiastic about the game and she knew she wanted to go home. She started out in a sprint and she ended up sliding into home and she's safe. That's us. We've got to keep our momentum up. Finals are coming up. We're done except for finals, and many of us are going to exempt finals, and so it'll be okay. We made it. We didn't think we could. We got through this at-home learning. I'm sure there are some parents who never want to go back to it. My guess is some students kind of liked it, and they're going to go forward. So from pre-K all the way through grade 12, we started with an enthusiasm, hopefully, maybe a little fear, but knowing that there was a promise that the people who work here are going to take care of you and give you the best that they can possibly give you. That's what really matters, that we're all set. We're ready to do this together. And so now, as we look at the end of the school year, we've got a few loose ends we need to hold together. We need to make sure that everything fits, everything works out. We can tie up those loose ends and have a successful year. There's some events that we want you to know about happening at RLA. There's the pickup and drop off of books and awards and art projects. You'll come through the line at 3 to 5 on May 28th, and we'll get you all the things you need. That's a Thursday night. And then at 6:30 that same night, we'll have our 5th grade celebration. Mr. Woodke's kind of a wonder worker at this. He has a special machine that sends his voice through an FM radio, and cars will drive by and get certificates, and there'll be all kinds of surprises, and it'll be a great event. And we tell those 5th graders we're glad that they're moving on, and we hope that most of them are moving on to a different building in the same school. And then the closing chapel will be online 10 o'clock on Friday, May 29th. There's great stuff happening there all year. Congratulations to those teachers for making it through, and the home teachers who've been helping the classroom teachers make sure kids know what's going on. There's one major event we want you to know about, and we want you to tell people about it, and we want you to get people together. Sunday, May 31st at 11:30, we're going to broadcast a graduation ceremony that we've been working on the CW. Now, if you have a broadcast TV with an antenna, that'll be 13.2. If you've got Comcast, it'll be 14. If you have a dish, I have no idea. But it's part of the WREX network, and they're going to start running promos for it, and we're going to see all of our graduates on May the 31st, Sunday at 11:30. We hope you'll pick that up. So there's questions that people have, and you know, if you've watched these videos before, we've got a spot on our website that says frequently asked questions. It says frequently asked questions, and we also have pinned to the top of the Facebook pages for RLA and for the school, frequently asked questions. And for our junior high, which is a group, not a page, it's in there in the news feed. You'll see it. And you'll get answers to some of the questions. I'll tell you about some of the questions you might ask and how to get there, but there are lots of questions. Take a glance because it's been updated since the last time we shared a message with you. So finals are coming up. We're calling them culminating activities, especially in the junior high. We have a lot of culminating activities. That might be a diorama or a spreadsheet or a budget or a map. It's something that demonstrates that students have acquired some knowledge. 7th and 8th grade students who are in high school classes, they can also qualify for exemptions. Any 7th and 8th, 9th and 10th and 11th grader who has an A in their class can exempt their final. They need to make that connection with their teacher. There isn't a exception for attendance that you have to have the proper level of attendance, which is 5 absences or less. So get in touch with your teacher if you think you have an exemption coming. Seniors can exempt A and B finals. So some of you may be done. I wouldn't have been. I had a collection of C's in my history. So I would have looked at the schedule, and the schedule is a little different than it typically is. Typically it's by the class section. So there's a 1st hour final and a 2nd hour final all the way through 8th. This year we're doing it by subject area. So all of the science schedule will be the same day. All of the math will be the same day. All of the English will be the same day. And if you go to frequently asked questions, you'll see the exam schedule for the 3411. Did you catch that 3411? That's the address of the junior senior high school, 3411 North Alpine Road. It's kind of trendy and fancy when we say it that way. So 3411 North Alpine book drop off. May 29th, which is a Friday, and then the whole week of June 1 through 5. So we encourage you to drop off the books. You can see the big sign there, yearbook sales. We want to make sure that if you haven't bought a yearbook and you want to capture some of those memories and remember the time when we had the old days when we used to have desks in classrooms and 22 people or 31 people or 7 people would sit in a classroom together. Get a yearbook if you haven't got one yet, and you'll remember those days for a long time. What'll happen is you'll put it in a box and it'll end up in some basement, and then eventually there'll be some kind of a flood and you'll pull out that box, and luckily your yearbook will be safe. Talk to me if it didn't happen that way. During the summer, there's some things going on, and you know that we're headed for phase 3 in Governor Pritzker's outline of when we can get back to work. But there are going to be adjustments that happen all the time. We're going to run our Boost and our Edge junior high academic programs to catch up or to accelerate your pace. You can check with Mrs. Norman, and her email address is there, nnorman@rockfordlutheran.org. And the Accelerate program, which is our summer day camp that goes up through 5th grade, 3rd grade. Check your frequently asked question. I don't know how far it goes, but we've been working with the health department. Lots of planning has gone on. You can find out about it on our Facebook pages, and there's a camp page for Accelerate as well. We'd like you to pay attention to that. If you can't find it on the page, give us a call at the school office. So now what? Loose ends are tied up. There's answers for all the questions. Where do we go from here? I wish I could tell you. I really don't know. One of the things we'd like to do, though, is we'll send you a survey when the finals are over and ask for some input, what you liked and what you didn't like. What did you learn at the at-home time? What would you be willing to put up with if we have to come to school with masks in the fall, or with no water fountains being turned on, and with 6-foot social distancing and rearranging our classrooms? You know, you look down here in the lower left-hand corner, those are CDC guidelines. You can't read them? Don't worry, they're going to change. We know that they change all the time. We're going to keep up with them. We're going to do what's responsible. We're going to do what is legal. We're going to do what is the best practice of all of this. We've been studying that, and both of our Lutheran church bodies have already sent out guidelines for reopening schools, and we'll make sure that we pay attention to that as we go and as we grow. We may do some e-learning even if we are allowed to come back face-to-face. We're waiting for the Illinois High School Association to tell us if we can do sports. We're waiting for the health department to tell us what our school should look like. The Illinois State Board of Education will give us some reminders, but we're not ruled by what they say. We are, in fact, ruled by the closed down orders that might come from the governor or from the county's office if there's spikes or embers or whatever it is you choose to call them. We're ready. We're on top of this. We're looking at different options. We want to hear from you. So when you get your survey, return it. It'll have some questions about the experience and about looking ahead. You can be sure that we're planning this every day. We're talking about this all the time. We'll have a great lesson. So if you've got questions, you can always contact the school. I'd like you to fill up my mailbox, dgillingham@rockfordlutheran.org. If you have information that you'd like me to have about your experience, or about ideas that you've seen on a TV special, or you read on a meme that you want to share with us for opening up or for closing or for evaluating, speak to us, communicate to us. Get the answers to the questions by going to the webpage, and there's a link, or going to our Facebook where it's posted on top, both at RLA and at Rockford Lutheran School, and the junior high is embedded in the news feed. And if all else fails, human beings, right? Give us a call. Both campuses are typically covered from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. And we really are here to be part of your family. Would you take a minute and pray with me? Heavenly Father, we're grateful that we've started a great task with enthusiasm. Our first day of school, whether we were a preschooler or whether we were looking to our penultimate year and we're 11th graders, we were excited, we were enthused, and things kind of went crazy on us. But we finished. We finished with enthusiasm, getting to the end, seeing our way clear, and knowing that you'd be waiting for us. Walking with us and waiting for us both. It's so hard for us to think like you, but we know your will is perfect and that you want only good things for us. Help us to be mindful always that you've got a plan for our lives, and we've been called to serve in this world as you've given us a place to rest in the next. Be with us today as you're with us always. Amen. Thanks a lot. Have a good morning, have a good evening, have a good final. Whatever happens to you, make it good. Okay, glasses on. I need to click here. And hopefully Mick's going to turn this off so I don't be, I'm almost here, 3 dots. And